just me and my guitar.
Hey, what's going on guys? Mark in the kitchen today on Mark's Aquatics. What I'm going to do today guys, I've got this tank which I had some goldfish in. We brought the baby koi up in as well. They've now gone into the pond outside to winter up now, and so they'll be back in the spring fighting fit and ready to put on some more weight. And so what I thought I'd do, I've been wanting to try this for a long time and I never really got around to doing it, but I thought when I emptied this tank out, I thought well, it's still cycled media and everything in there. So I thought it'd be an ideal opportunity to do my little backyard garden aquarium, which I've always wanted to have a go at. Keep it cold water, not put any livestock in it, and just see how it progresses with time. If it does grow in, or if the things that I put in there die back. It's just an experiment really, which I'm going to try out just to see how it works out. Now I've got some old media in the bottom there, which is all cycled stuff, and I've got some more media in a bucket over here. And I've been up in the garden now and I've collected different types of mosses and bits of wood and stones and different things like that, and I picked them all up and I just thought I'd do a backyard aquarium just to see how it goes. It's going to be running off the little T5 lights in there in the hood, which are little grow lights, which should be plenty enough light for mosses to grow, but it's whether or not they're going to grow under the water. That's going to be the test. So I'm going to put some of this media in now, and I'm going to start making this little tank up and see how it turns out guys, okay? Okay guys, I've brought it back into the workshop now. I think from start to finish this has taken me about an hour. There's some stunning mosses and sphagnum mosses, all different types of mosses there that I've brought down from the woods. A couple of sticks, some rocks that I had, old aquascaping rocks that I've put in there, and it looks like it's been there for about 20 years to be honest. But whether or not it's going to survive or not is another story, only time's going to tell. So coffee time. I've earned that one. Hit that little subscribe button guys if you like these little videos that I'm doing. Sure will really appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, pop back and have a look at some of the other stuff I've done. Done all kinds of different things on there for you to look at, different things you can learn, and it's always nice to have more people on board that we can share this knowledge about. What I'm going to do now is I've got my trusty little 2 litre pot here. I'm going to put the lid up on the tank, put his little leg up, there you go. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to literally, if I swing you around, I'm going to take some water directly from the pond and I'm going to put that straight into the tank. My little mates are looking hungry. Want some beans? Come on then. Come on then. Temperature in the pond today is 12 degrees. When it gets down to about 10 degrees, that's when I stop feeding then. Otherwise, if you're not familiar, what happens is when the temperature drops below 10 degrees in a pond, your fish's temperature drops below 10 degrees internally. They cannot digest the food that they're taking in. So basically what happens is it rots in their stomach, they get gassed up and they die, and it's a very nasty death for them. So don't feed your fish after it drops below 10 degrees, okay? Right, I'm going to pan you around again. The old mini pond there. Look, I chucked some leaves in there as well, and there's still a few little shrimp, believe it or not, in there, which I haven't got out. And the temperature is 12 degrees in there. I've been trying to catch them out. They're still quite active, they're still feeding, and it's only 12 degrees in there, so it shows you the temperature changes that they can actually cope with. But I will get them out of there, and I'll put them into this tank here as fast as I possibly can. I'll do that today as well. I only noticed a couple in there last night. So what I'm going to do now, we're going to get a bit of debris probably coming up. I'll tip this very slowly. I nearly scooped one of my fish up there and frightened the life out of them. Come on then, out of the way, big fella. Little Lemon's made an appearance. Hello, little fella. You coming up here to say hello to everybody? Come on then, come and say hello. Get off my coffee, you. I'm going to slowly pour this in now. Sinking all that mud and different things in amongst it, settle it all in like you would do watering in your plants in your garden, really. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with this little setup. Like I just said before, I've been wanting to do this for years and years, and I've never actually got round to doing it, so this is going to be an interesting one. This, right, I'm going to speed things up, otherwise you're going to be bored again. Okay guys, we've given it an initial fill, emptied it again, and now I'm going to refill it up again. Now we've got all the different mosses in there, the bits of wood at the back there with the moss on. We've got some sphagnum moss and fairy moss, different types of, maybe a couple of other different species in there as well. And we're really slowly now filling it up with water so as not to disturb any more of the ground, which is actually in the root systems of the moss. Looking pretty good so far. It's going to be really interesting to see how this one pans out over the next couple of weeks. It's a good light in there for the moss, and as I said before, I'm not going to actually put anything in here that's going to be living, so we're just going to let nature take its course in here. There's going to be a couple of bits in here that I didn't find. Obviously there's going to be a few little critters that have been hitchhiked in on the moss or right deep in the moss that I couldn't get out, and they're going to probably die, and that's going to that may slightly pollute the water up a little bit. Our ammonias might go up a bit, but there's plenty of plants in there now to cope with that, and there's nothing in there that's going to have any damage done to it by any ammonia if it does creep up. We'll keep some tests on it and see what's going on as it progresses. Like I said before, when I used to go up onto the mountain sides, I used to get these little tiny divots in the grass, and they used to fill up with water after a big storm, and because it's quite clay soil around here, the water just tends to hang. I just saw a couple of little springtails hopping around in here, which have come in on the moss. Yeah, these little tiny rock pools. Listen to me. Little tiny little polyverses. They had all different types of mosses in them, all different types of grasses and little plants, little bits of clover, all different types of plants, and they were thriving. And I noticed them for a good, I would say, a good month, and things weren't dying off inside. Things, to me, looked to be spot on, and even growing. Some things were flowering, sort of like buttercups and stuff like that were coming through and actually flowering through the water. So it just shows they can put up with it for a given amount of time. I've only put moss in here because obviously mosses do love it soaking wet or saturated, minimal light, and I've tried to pick these mosses where it was quite shaded, and that's where they tend to be growing well. And this is it's not a very strong light, it's only a little T5 little strip in there, and that should be sufficient light. Already I can see the oxygen being produced in this bottom layer of this moss here, or it could be just trapped in there from when the water was coming up. I'm not sure, but we'll soon see if it starts to release any oxygen as it fills up. But I think it looks pretty dandy as it is there. Looks like it's been there. Looks like a little mountainside that's been there for 100 years, and it's only taken us 10 minutes, 15 minutes to throw it all in the tank and arrange it like this. It'll be really nice now to see if it takes and starts growing, and then we can trim it back, shape it up, and then if all goes well, we may add something in there later on, but it's not going to be for some time because I really want to make sure it's working and it stabilizes first before I put anything else in there. Right, I'm going to speed this a little bit of filling up now, and then we'll get back when it's full. Okay guys? Well, there you go, it's all full up with water now, and I think that looks pretty special to me. Really happy the way that's turned out. As I said before, it looks like it's always been there and it's been growing for a long time. I can see nice little beads of oxygen being released already from the moss. Could be where it's been trapped before and it's releasing. But we're going to find out now over the next sort of couple of weeks how this is going to bed in, see what's going to happen to it. It's going to be an interesting little experiment to see what's going on, how it's going to grow, if it's going to grow, and I'll put some liquid CO2 in there in a couple of days time, because all the plants that are in there are mostly rooted into soil anyway, or onto the wood, so I'll give them an added little bit of feed. Hopefully that light's going to be okay for them. And without anything in there, I think that looks absolutely marvellous. Yes guys, what I was going to say is, don't forget, when we hit 2,000 subs, one of you lucky guys is going to be picked for this JBL test kit, okay? There's all kinds of stuff in there. It's a right little lab. There's everything that you're going to need for your tank. Not this particular one, but it's the other one that I've got, which is in a box all packed up, ready to rock and roll to whoever gets it, okay? And like I say, these test kits aren't cheap, guys, they're really not. But like I said before, it came to me for nothing, courtesy of JBL. So the least I can do is give it away to one of you lucky guys out there, and you can make some use of it and keep all your little tank mates healthy and make sure all your water parameters are fine. Anyway guys, thanks for tuning in to this little wild aquarium build, cold water style, from the garden. Hope you enjoyed it. I think it looks pretty cool, and let's hope it takes off. If you're new to the channel, pop back and have a look at some of the other videos. May encourage you to subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. And as always, you're all stars. Love you loads. Take care, and I'll see you on the next episode of Mark's Aquatics. Bye for now.
Just me and my guitar.